beige is really popular for spring 2019, it's a color that I think is really timeless, and it's something that can be worn all year long and for many years to come. It's also a color that's become very key to my personal style, but it's also a color that can be kind of tricky to wear. It can make you feel less than great and kind of wash you out in some instances, and also just make you feel kind of boring. So I hope that the tips that I've picked up over the years are helpful, and they really shed light on how you can approach the shade in a thoughtful way to wear it in a way that's custom to you, because it's so important to always take something and tailor it to you and your preferences, your unique lifestyle, your hair color, your skin color, and what you love to wear. So I hope these tips are helpful, and along with the tips, I've included a ton of inspiration. I've been gathering inspiration over the last couple weeks and saving as many images as possible, and then I've also shared a couple of the ways that I'll be wearing it. So I hope it's helpful, and I would love to know in the comments down below how you feel about beige. Is it a color that you like, or is it a color that you avoid at all costs? Definitely let me know, and let's hop into the video. My first tip is one size does not fit all, and this is something that is so important to understand for your own personal wardrobe when adopting everything from a piece of clothing to a silhouette to a color. It's something that you should definitely consider and really dive into and start to understand what makes you feel great, what do you love to wear, and what do you really hate to wear. And an easy way to do that is to use basic color theory. So of course these are always optional. You don't have to wear colors that are said to suit you, and you can definitely wear colors that are supposed to be unflattering. I do it all the time. But if you are having a hard time finding the shade that's perfect for you, I hope these tips will help point you in the right direction. So I've gone over this in past videos, but essentially there are four basic undertones to your skin. We have cool, which runs slightly pink. We have warm, which runs slightly yellow. Then we have neutral, which is a nice balance of the two, so it's not too cool and not too warm. And then we also have olive. And olive can be a little bit of a wild card. I am personally olive undertoned. It's something that is not exclusive to people with dark hair and slightly tanner skin. People with very pale skin can also be olive undertoned. So delve deeper into that if you have a hard time finding foundation that suits you, blush that suits you, and then colors that suit you. Because I think it'll be transformative if you haven't explored that yet. But for me personally, I am slightly olive warm. So I've got both green and a little bit of yellow running in my undertone. I've got a nice mix of both of my parents going on, and it makes it a little difficult. So I tend to favor things that are slightly warmer because they tend to just make me feel a little bit more vibrant. So in the case of beige, I would opt for something that's a little bit of a warmer beige, almost like an off ivory kind of. I wouldn't go full on light pale khaki. That just would wash me out and make me feel a little too monochromatic because it's very close to my own skin color, and instead I like that contrast. So if you have a cool undertone, you might prefer cool, light-leaning beige colors. They might really make your face come to life and make you feel alive. And then if you're a warm undertone, you'll like a warmer beige potentially, something that's almost like a really rich camel color. I think is so good for this. And then neutral, go crazy, just experiment, and you can probably find a color within both ends of the spectrum that works for you. And I think if you're neutral undertone, a really great way to wear beige is to wear a bunch of different shades all together. I think it looks so nice and really thoughtful, but also kind of avant-garde a little bit. So it gives a really cool touch to your outfit when you do this. My next tip is to think outside the box a little bit. So you don't have to wear a beige shirt or a beige jacket to participate in the trend. Instead, you can opt for a beige accessory, maybe a great necklace or a handbag or a pair of shoes, a scarf even. I think it's a really good way to dip your toes into something and see how you like it, because you don't have to commit to a blazer, for example, which can be expensive and it can be a little bit difficult to find, and instead you can test it out with something on the cheaper side and something that won't totally destroy all the work you've put into your wardrobe. So bringing a necklace in is a very low-key way to experiment, and it's also a really good way to participate without feeling like you're jumping totally on board. And if you don't like to feel kind of cookie cutter, then this is a really good option. I have a pair of shoes that have just been added to my wardrobe. They were gifted to me by Everlane, and they're wonderful for this. They're also really good for me personally because they're a nice color that's almost my exact skin tone. So it helps give me that kind of lengthened look that I like, even though it's got the square toe, which is really cool and kind of updated. And it's something I'm playing around with for my own personal style journey. I touched on this in a past video, but I'm trying to slowly update a lot of my really classic pieces, and something in a trendy color with a more trendy silhouette I think is a really good way to do that. My next tip is to mix it up a little bit. So kind of like I mentioned in my first tip about finding a particular shade that suits you and then wearing variations of that all together to give some interest, I think another great way to do that is to pair it with a print. So right now leopard print is really popular. It's such a timeless pattern anyway, so you don't have to worry about growing tired of it, but you can find leopard print with beige running all throughout it in either a cool undertone or a warm undertone, and it's a really wonderful way to break it up. So you don't feel so boring, I guess, if you really don't like beige because it feels so bland, then I think pairing it with a print is a really great way to help add some interest there. So you can do this with a ton of different patterns, obviously. Leopard print is just the first that comes to my mind, and I think it's something that's really fun because leopard has so much personality tied to it. So just by pairing something with leopard, you elevate and kind of inject the rest of your outfit with fun. And my last tip is to balance out your beige with a color that you feel fantastic in. So if you don't like having beige up close to your face, you feel like it washes you out, then maybe try a great scarf in a vibrant color that just makes you feel alive. I like to do this with very rich berry tones typically, because those colors like rich browns and rich maroons really suit my skin tone and my undertone. So they make me feel really good when I wear them. I think they complement my darker hair and my dark eyes, and it's something that's really become a key part of my personal style. So I like to wear these shades in variations, but always have something richer tied in. It just makes it feel more like me. So I recommend the same for you. And then also, you don't have to wear beige in your shirt, for example. If it feels too close to your face and you've tried experimenting with a different lip color and cheek color to help liven things up and it's still not working, then try pairing it in your pants. So wear a skirt with beige in it, or again shoes like I mentioned earlier, and then wear your flattering color up top. And there you have it. Those are some of my top tips for wearing beige and some of the things that have worked for me to incorporate the color into my own wardrobe. I hope that this was helpful and maybe it gave you something to think about that you hadn't considered before. And I'm going to take all of the inspiration images that I've gathered and put them over on my blog, but then also my Pinterest board. So I'll link to both of those down below for you. That way you can refer back to them for inspiration beyond just wearing the color, but also great outfit inspiration because these outfits are fantastic. And like always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Have a great day.